am Michael Manring, and you're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.
Hi everyone, John Liebman here. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com, coming to you today from right in the middle of the hubbub of the London Bass Guitar Show with our old friend Michael Manring. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing great, John. It's great to see you.
It's great to see you again, too. This is, I think, the third interview we've done because you're such an interesting guy and you've always got so much cool stuff to talk about. But I remember marveling at your stuff way back to the Windham Hill days, back in the 80s, I guess it was. And you've done so much more since then. I've seen your master classes. I've heard your recordings. We've gotten to know each other. So those interviews are both up there. If you go to forbassplayersonly.com and in the little search thing, just type in Michael Manring and they will pop right up. And maybe even some other stories or news things we've published about you over time. But bring us up to date on what's happening. I think the last time we did a formal interview was, formal, we're real formal here, was Bass Player Live, I think 2013. So it was a while ago. So bring us up to date. What's happening now? What's keeping you busy, Michael Manring?
There's a lot of stuff going on. One of the things I'm most excited about is a new group with Trey Gunn and Alonso Arreola. I don't know if you know Alonso, amazing Mexican bassist. I mean, just mind-blowing. So we have a bass trio we've been doing called Three Blow. And we've been composing music and doing a lot of improvised stuff too. And it's really exciting. So we're really had some really good shows and we're looking forward to doing a lot more. So that's something we're really putting some good energy into. And
we talked earlier, I said I want to talk about what's going on, what's happening. You said, oh, there's all kinds of stuff we could talk about. So what else is going on? Give us a couple more.
We're working on a new signature amp with Mark Bass. Pretty exciting, and I don't have any details yet that I can divulge.
Oh, we won't tell anybody.
Well, it should be fun. It should be fun, that I can say. And
You're working with Marco over there at Mark Bass?
Absolutely. And the 25th anniversary hyper bass we're working on. Hard to believe it's been 25 years.
That's what, Zahn, right?
That's Zahn, Joe Zahn.
Good old Joe.
Yeah, and so we're excited about that. And I've been doing a ton of session work. And in fact, I wrote down some of the folks that I'd like to thank for all the sessions I've done lately. Also want to mention my first record was just re-released, Unusual Weather, as well as Sign Language, record by group Montreux that I was in. And yeah, a bunch of session stuff. I did a bunch of sessions with William Ackerman, Richard Carr, Brenda Warren, Darren Mahoney. I did a really nice record with a guy named Brad Smith. Another one with the guitarist Caleb Graham. My old friend Carl Weingarten, who does sort of ambient slide guitar, really nice. Jeff Todd, Clive Carroll. Excuse me, I've got the cold that's going up.
London air, I understand.
And a really interesting record with Barry Cleveland and Richard Beanhaus. Kind of avant-garde, really interesting record. So a whole bunch of things like that going on.
Okay, you mentioned Mark Bass, you mentioned Zahn. I know you've also been a long-time artist of D'Addario strings. And there must be a reason for that, because a bass player of your stature, I'm sure you can play just about any string you want. Why have you stuck with D'Addario for so long? What is it that you like about that string?
I just love them. I mean, they're really a part of my sound. The hyperbass uses their piccolo strings. It's been so important for me, and I really appreciate the quality of the strings and the reliability. And it's all I've used my professional career. So I just love those strings. Can't say enough good about them.
Well, when they work, why switch, right?
Why switch?
What else in the future? I mean, you hinted at a couple of projects, and you mentioned the CD, and you talked about some things that you have in the more immediate future. But what about long term? Is there something? Do you have a list? Someday I will, or I've always wanted to, or one of these days I'm going to fill in the blank. Do you have anything in that category?
I have a bunch of those. There's a whole bunch of records that I'd like to do of my own. I've been kind of slowly writing 3 or 4 different records, over years, and kind of hoping that I'll get a chance to track them down one of these days. One of them is with a jazz trio, but the music is through composed. Kind of strange. There'd be some improvisation, but mostly it's just composed. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's sort of like if Bill Evans had written everything out. And then I want to do an electronic record, a lot of kind of strange electronic sounds, combine that with the bass. And still working on another solo record, all solo bass. So there's a bunch of stuff going on.
I've always admired your creativity and how you never seem to sit still. And every project that you put out is different from the last one and all the other previous ones. So be sure to let us know, and we'll tell everybody on ForBassPlayersOnly.com, and we'll be sure to spread the word.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for all the support all these years.
Well, thank you for all your great music. Last question, Michael, and I don't remember if I asked you this last time or not, but what would you be if you were not a bass player? Something outside of music.
You know, I didn't plan on being a musician. I wanted to be a music teacher. I wanted to be a teacher more than anything else. And it kind of kept getting gigs and kind of ended up being a bass player, but it wasn't my first choice. But yeah, I wanted to be a teacher. I would have liked to have been a sociologist. I would have liked to have been a nutritionist or a yoga instructor. But bass player was pretty high up on the list, so it's turned out okay.
Yes, it has. I'm glad it worked out the way it did. Well, Michael Manring, great catching up with you again. Thanks so much for bringing us up to date, and thanks especially for all the good music. We'll keep enjoying it as long as you keep doing it.
Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Amid the cacophonous London bass guitar show with our special guest today, Michael Manring, I'm John Liebman. You're watching ForBassPlayersOnly.com.